I was vacuuming my living room when my cell phone rang a familiar tune. So I rushed to pick it up because I knew it was a good friend by the tune that I had set on my cell phone. And he shared with me that Kobe Bryant and his daughter died that morning in a helicopter crash. Because a few weeks ago, during a heartfelt conversation, a friend of mine reminded me, and she said something to the effect that our superheroes aren't supposed to die. She felt that they are immortal, kind of these public figures, be they in sports or entertainment, fine arts, politics. The list goes on depending upon what you perceive as your superheroes. Well, sometimes they can be viewed somehow to protect us or shield us and our families from danger and overcome life's greatest challenges. And so after getting that news, I immediately turned on the TV like so many people probably would, and I scrolled through a few of the channels, and when I heard that, yep, it was confirmed by so many sources, it was like once I was aware and it was coming into my body and into my mind, I could actually tell that my body was becoming numb. I was aware of that. And I remember just sort of shaking my head in disbelief and saying out loud, this can't be happening, or what just happened? And being present in my body, I could feel my body and emotions focusing up to that big question that maybe many of you have had before too when tragedy strikes. Why? I wasn't really saying why God, because my faith is really grounded, but just sort of that why. And I could see and feel, I couldn't see, I could see. I was getting foggy. I was getting teary-eyed. And I found that my thoughts began racing through my mind of perhaps maybe one of my first superhero singer-songwriters, Jim Croce, which many of you will probably have to Google to find out who that is. But he had tragically died when I was in college. And I could feel those feelings coming up in me because I loved his lyrics. And somehow during that time in my life, I felt like I deeply loved the man, even though I had never even seen him in concert. You know, the strong emotions of many other artists that had passed were kind of bubbling up in the here and now. I still remember thinking of John Denver and the fact that that too was in an airplane or an aircraft. And it was all bubbling up in the present moment. And soon, it was very quickly, many life experiences of premature deaths or tragedies of my superheroes, but then it quickly changed to family and friends that were taken all too quickly, and they began to emerge into my present moment. You see, to live mindfully in the moment, I sat with these sensations and thoughts for several minutes, allowing myself to feel sad, to feel shock, surprise. I said prayers. I sent love and compassion and grace to others. And I also found myself sending loving kindness to myself at the moment because I was thinking about many very personal tragedies that I have had in my life. Now, again, I didn't know Kobe personally, but having lived in Chicago area most of my life, and of course during the Michael Jordan era with the Bulls, Coach Phil Jackson, who kind of ironically, I moved to Williston where Phil played, and so somehow there was this connection. So I kind of followed Coach Jackson when he went to the Lakers, and of course then Kobe's career. And like many athletes, Kobe was part of my sports life for about 20 years or so as I watched him grow up from this kid. And, he was in many of my conversations when he owned the basketball court, kind of the way I remember Michael Jordan did during his amazing career. But I also remember, too, that Kobe was human. And he had experienced some things in his life that were in the public eye that I quite frankly don't believe were so heroic. Although at times like this, when tragedy often occurs, some of those not so bright spots in our lives are usually not the things that come up. But it occurred to me that he was human. He wasn't a superhero. He was mortal. Just as we all are, just as his daughter Gianna and the 7 others who were on that helicopter and lost their lives. For me, perhaps it was the nature of the flight, this family trip with his daughter and other families. Maybe that's what really hurt my heart in maybe a deeper manner. The loss with his daughter is a great reminder to all of us. There are no guarantees in life for anyone, and we don't know when, where, or how it'll happen, but life is impermanent. I loved the picture that I came across of Kobe and his daughter, and I shared that in my Mindfulness with Marcia email, because for me it was a reminder for all of us to be gentle and tender with the people we love. Maybe we can even consider being this way with all people. I think that would really make the world a wonderful place. This week, in the wake of this grief, in the wake of tragedy, I'm staying close to my loved ones. I'm going to pause and think of them, call them, text them, and physically touch them often. I'm going to pause and remember my superheroes, but probably more so my family and friends, in all the positive ways that they inspired, connected, and brought light to my life, but were gone all too soon. And I'm going to intentionally pause to think of Kobe's family and the families on that helicopter, and again, send prayers, love, and grace. So maybe this tragedy has brought to your mind an experience with someone you knew personally in your life who was taken away suddenly. I know that several of you reached out and said, Marcia, how does mindfulness fit into times like this? I hope that this helped. And if you're grieving today for anyone, go ahead. Cry and let the pain and the tears and the anger and the love and that feeling of helplessness come out in whatever way feels right for you. For you. For me, of course, a lot of it has to do with my faith. But I want you to pause and give space for it. Don't say, I'll think about that later, or this reminds me of something. But please know that you're not alone. And thank you for allowing me to be mindful of this event with you today and share with you some of my mindful living reflections. Next week, we will return to our topic on clearing, and I hope that you've considered your intention to clear, whether it's to clear out some space or some stuff or whatever you'd like to clear, because it's not too late, to come up with a great intention, because that intention will drive you when clearing seems to be too much work, and I guarantee you it will. So I guess, it'll be February next week. So until February, my rancher friends, be well.